Hello and welcome to the Date Your Wife podcast. I am your host, Danielle K. White, with
Co-host.
my co-host.
You can't be the host and then
No,
make me the co-host.
I'm the host. This is my co-host.
Actually, I think you probably could. I mean, if you're the lead host, I'm the co-host. That would make sense. Are you the lead host?
We are your hosts.
We are your hosts.
Hosts?
You know, one of the interesting conversations I've had with our daughters recently is lesbian, gay, bi, transgender,
That's
Q.
not the topic.
It's not the topic, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be straight with you. I didn't understand what the Q was. Q is questioning who you are sexually or who you are as a person.
Q is like 12 to 15.
Listen, the reason this topic came up is because Bailey was talking to me about how one of the boys in 5th grade was gay, and then in 6th grade he was bi, and then in 7th grade he is Q. Like I didn't understand what that meant. I was like, "What the fuck is Q all about? Tell me about this Q." And she's like, "Q is questioning." I was like, "Well, of course, questioning. 5th grade, he's gay. 6th grade, he's bi. 7th grade, he's questioning.
I'm questioning.
In 4th grade, you're questioning whether you're bi, straight, or gay.
No, I'm just questioning what kind of.
I guess you couldn't be gay, be lesbian.
What?
You'd be lesbian. You wouldn't be gay. You'd be lesbian.
Yeah.
You're a woman.
Yeah, no.
Listen, I don't have any problem with gay, lesbian, transgender. Transgender is like a weird thing for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's good. It's a little weird. I don't think it's like weird. It's just like I don't really get it. But the thing I really don't get, Q.
Why?
I think Q's fucking it up forever. All the people.
I think like Miley Cyrus, she's Q.
Questioning what she is.
Yeah.
I think she is. She just left her husband for a woman.
It's fine.
All right. Anyways, I just think it was crazy to be a parent having a conversation with my 7th grader. She's 12 about this, but she was super mature about it. I was mature about it. But I didn't really know how to have the conversation with her because I didn't understand it. I was like, explain it. This is normal talk in the middle school. When I was in middle school, two girls kissed one time on TV and I couldn't even believe it.
I got to be honest. I think it's like important to just have good communication, even when you're younger. So who cares? Like this, they're going to experience when they're 12 or 20. So.
Well, I don't think it's so much as a problem so much as I think that our kids are facing a whole lot of conversations we never faced when we were kids. When we were their age, you were not having you were not having those conversations.
Okay, but you still have the same feelings, and I think that now. No,
talk right into that microphone.
No, I'm good. I think you have the same feelings. I just think that
you think your feelings are the same, but the situations are different.
Yeah, everyone always has the same feelings and emotions. It's fine.
When I was Bailey's age, I remember going to a sleepover at a friend's house. I wasn't even really friends with him, but I went to the sleepover.
You were cute?
No, I wasn't cute at all. There was Porky's. I was for sure straight. Like, listen, I've never even had the feeling to go the other way because I can tell you why. Because they showed Porky's, which was Porky's was a TV. It was a movie.
Porky's?
Porky's is the name of it. Now, the greatest part about Porky's was the fact that there were nipples and naked breasts. And like as a young boy in middle school, you're super pumped about this.
Why does this podcast always go to sex?
Where did you think it was going to go when I said Porky's?
Do
you think I was going to go to linens for the couch?
I don't even
couch that linens. All right, listen.
All right, what's
they don't
our
have
topic
linens. All right,
today?
our topic,
Jesus.
All right, our topic is on parenting.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, you had 2 topics before we got here.
I know, and it's going to be linked up to the topic of parenting. That's why I brought up the conversation.
No, it was not parenting. What was it? It was good.
No, listen, here's the thing we're going to talk about. No, it has everything to do with parenting because it's a feeling that I have that you were talking about earlier, which is the feeling of guilt.
Oh, guilt.
Come on now. Listen,
but that's
guilt.
Not parenting.
Oh my God, you're out of your mind.
Okay, there's a lot of mommy guilt.
Okay, and there's a lot of dad guilt too. So talk to me. Mom guilt. What we're going to really address.
There was another topic that you talked about. There was like guilt and overcoming guilt.
No, there was guilt. And there was just guilt. We were talking about guilt. There wasn't any other topic.
You were asking me, you're like, do you face guilt? And I was like, that's a human emotion. No,
and I was asking, how do you...
I sometimes think you think I'm a robot. You're like,
I don't think you're a robot.
Do you experience happiness?
I don't think you're a robot.
Do you experience guilt?
Do you have feelings?
Do you? I'm like,
Are you made of plastic?
Yeah, plastic.
Are you a blow-up
Come
doll?
on.
No, you're a human being. Congratulations. All right, listen, so... Let's have a talk about this. Guilt. I know exactly where I'm taking this show. I just talked about the conversation with my kids because it was a good segue, which you're fucking up right now, a good segue to talk about the conversation of energy around children and but energy around life, which is I have a lot of guilt around kids over the years. Like a lot of guilt, right?
You know what? I make decisions on like, is this going to make me feel guilty? And if it does, I'm like, ooh.
You really think that? You think, does this, if I make a decision, this makes me feel guilty, yes or no?
I literally think guilt is the enemy. Like,
all right, talk more about this.
Nothing can pull you down more than guilt. And so honestly, when I'm making decisions, I'm like, I'm going to feel bad about that later, so I'm not going to do it.
when you have sex with me out of guilt, do you feel weird about it?
Oh my God. No.
You don't?
I feel accomplished.
You feel accomplished.
I'm like, check that off the list.
Get that
Here's
off the
how
list.
it goes for women. We have
All
like
right.
a checklist of things that might make us feel guilty, and we're like, nailed that, nailed that, nailed that, nailed that. Because we fear
Like, do
guilt.
you avoid it or do you
we
do
fear
it?
guilt. We're like, guilt's gonna take us to a whole nother low. Like we talked about on last week's podcast, where we're like, listen, false. What do we call it? False loop or false?
Yeah, the false lift.
Yes, and so like there's nothing worse than that guilt. You wake up as a woman, you're like, shit, I was a bad mom. Shit, I drank too much. Shit, I was a bad wife. Like, shit, I was a bad business owner. Like,
Do you wake up with this feeling? Is this
yes,
actually a
it's
feeling in the morning?
Always in the morning.
Right when you wake up.
No, it's never like midday. You're always in the morning. You're like,
All right.
fuck.
You know what I'd like to hear about? I'd like you to share with everyone your dream about being Matthew McConaughey.
No.
Yes, just share it.
No, okay.
I think it's good. I think it's a good
Okay.
segue.
It's
You didn't
weird,
hold
it's a
up
weird
strong there.
segue.
Literally,
Okay.
you were
No,
Matthew McConaughey in your dream. So it wasn't you were sleeping with Matthew
woke
McConaughey.
Up, I don't know what time it was, and literally, do you ever have dreams where you wake up and you're like, like you were dying in your sleep, and then
No.
you woke up and you're like, holy shit, I brought myself out of it.
I never do. I don't dream.
Never?
Never have dreams. You have
Oh.
all the dreams for us, so tell us about
Oh
it.
my god!
I'm living
So-
through you and Matthew McConaughey, who you became.
So
I thought you were going to tell me you had sex with Matthew McConaughey in your dream. I was
No,
like, I
I
can
wish.
respect that. But you became Matthew McConaughey. It appears you are a Q.
So,
You are questioning in your dreams.
I know. I was like an action figure. I don't even know. So in my dream, I woke up in the middle of the night. I was like scared to death, where I had like so much bad energy around me, and I was like cuddling up against Garrett. And I was like,
Were you right up against me? I didn't even feel you.
I literally was like, I gotta go pee so bad, and I didn't want to.
Oh, you were scared.
I was scared.
I was
So-
scared when I watched Gremlins back in the day to go pee. All right, keep
my
going.
God.
Keep
Same.
going. I was like 8 years old, though. I was terrified to walk down my grandmother's hallway from the bunk bedroom.
No, I just think that there's like, I don't know if it's, I have a little bit of anxiety. And so sometimes when I go to bed, like, I think that anxiety happens in your sleep and it makes you dream.
Were you anxious last night when you went to bed?
No, I was actually fine. But I've had a lot with business and work and life and a newborn.
All right, so you're Matthew McConaughey. Talk to us about this dream, though, because I thought it was quite
Okay.
dramatic.
So I woke up and I'm like scared to death and I'm like snuggling Garrett.
No,
like,
don't talk
2
about
in
when
the
you woke
morning.
up. Talk
I
about
know.
the dream.
So the dream, okay.
All right, let's go.
Okay.
Deep breath.
So I wake up, or no, I'm in a dream. I'm Matthew McConaughey. And
Talk
I'm,
like Matthew
I'm-
McConaughey.
I don't know.
All right, keep
Doesn't
going.
he have an accent?
I don't know. He sounds like a guy, though, because
I'm
he
like,
is a guy.
I'm Matthew. I don't-
Matthew.
So I'm in the middle of a dream. I'm in a canoe. I'm in a canoe in a dark river.
Do you have a paddle in
yes,
the canoe?
yes, I have a paddle, and I'm paddling my ass off, and I don't know what I'm paddling away from, but I'm scared.
Are you in a river or a lake or an ocean?
It's like a dark
Swimming pool.
river. I don't even know.
You're in a
Dreams
dark
don't
river.
make sense. So
Okay.
I'm paddling in this river, and I'm Matthew McConaughey. Like, to
Are
my,
you shredded Matthew McConaughey or are you a fatty McGee? Are you fatty
Is he
McGee
ever
Matthew
fat?
I don't know. Maybe it's later down the road. He becomes
anyways,
fatty
I'm
McGee.
paddling and I'm scared to death. And all of a sudden, I go from paddling to I'm in a ski suit and I'm like.
So you're in a river and then you end up on a mountain in a ski suit.
Yes, and that's why I think I'm
You're
Matthew
still Matthew McConaughey.
because like I couldn't do that. I don't know how to ski. Matthew does, obviously.
Oh,
So I'm
does he? Have you
skiing.
seen him in a ski movie? I've never seen him
He
in a
does
ski
no
movie.
harm. He does all things.
He does all things.
He does all things.
It appears you in your dreams too, so that's good. Continue. He not only
So,
does you, he becomes
I'm,
you. He
I'm
ate you
skiing.
alive. All
I'm
right.
skiing down the mountain,
Okay.
and an avalanche is coming to get me. And all of a sudden, the snow is like caving in on me. And all of a sudden, it's like I can't see anything. And then I think the snow gets me. And I wake up and I'm in a warm pool of water. And like the sun is shining on me. And then all of a sudden, some like monster pulls my ankles and is like eating my feet.
Did you feel the eating? That was new. I didn't hear that.
Yes.
Yes, really.
Literally all.
Were you laying in blood? Maybe not a warm
I
pool
don't know.
of
What
water?
does this have to do with today's topic?
Well, I'm just talking about you have lots of dreams. Your dreams mean things. And part of what we're
No.
dealing with is the emotion of guilt, which is there are a lot of feelings I get around guilt. I don't become Matthew McConaughey when I have them, but I do have them.
I think this dream was because I've been anxious with work. I fired Garrett back in January because
Nope, March. You fired me in March.
no,
I quit in March. You didn't
Well,
fire me.
I fired you back in like February.
You fired / I quit in March.
And I have like taken on the role of CEO, salon owner, education director.
How's that feel?
I feel very strong.
You look very strong.
I feel like I've snapped back from this baby strong. I feel like I mentally feel strong. I feel really strong. And part of me is like, why did I avoid this? Like that could be a whole topic in itself. Like
Well, let's talk about it right now. Why did you avoid it?
I think I was scared. I think I was scared that I couldn't become this person, that it was going to be too overwhelming, that I was
Were you
Matthew
scared before you
McConaughey in an Avalanche. I don't fucking know. But
Well, that's what happens when you become Matthew McConaughey. Anything's possible.
no.
That's
So-
the motto for today's show.
Oh,
Become
Jesus.
Matthew McConaughey. Just
Apparently,
WWMD.
he's
What would
like,
Matthew do?
Apparently, he is like my superhero of I don't know what.
I think you just internally you have a sexual deep desire for Matthew McConaughey, and I respect that. I don't have any problem with it. I think it's great. I mean, he's a shredded guy. He's a great actor. He's got great curly hair. Whatever. He's gotten super skinny for roles. That's impressive. I mean, you have to basically starve yourself to become a movie actor. I would never do that.
Is this podcast about Matthew McConaughey?
Well, it appears it is because your dream was about Matthew McConaughey.
No.
All right,
so
listen.
I honestly, I went through a lot of stress with work, and I was just trying to figure things out. And I actually feel very strong. I feel like things are good, and I was scared, and I don't think I had any guilt with work. I think I was just scared of the unknown.
Do you know what I've noticed?
What?
I've noticed that you're an amazing mom to babies.
I'm a good mom.
You are. It's very interesting. You sit and have stare-offs with our baby
Aww.
for hours, and I think it's beautiful.
I'm just being in the moment.
I know. I love it. What's that like being a mom, having a baby? Seriously, what's that like to hold a
what?
little creature 3 months old that you know you made and pushed out your vagina?
Fun fact about me, I actually never really wanted to do business. I literally was like,
I thought you were going to say I didn't want to have babies. I was
No.
like, really?
Literally from the time I was 15, I'm like, I'm going to have 7 kids. I'm going to marry a rich dude and life's going to be over. And
You wanted 7 children?
I
Did you think this?
Yeah, I was like, I want 7 kids. I told all my friends, they're like, you're nuts. And I'm like, you're nuts. But I realized that I don't want 7 kids. But I realize I really do love being a mom. And in a lot of ways, that's actually pushed me to have this success I've had in my business. So.
Okay. So we started on this topic before we took this huge detour about Matthew McConaughey and ended up back here, which was a great detour, by the way. We started to talk around guilt. Now, one of the questions I asked you while you were driving down the road with me and you were sitting in shotgun on Instagram, I asked you a question. The question was simple. Do you feel guilt? That's all I asked you. I said, do you feel guilt? And you said...
It's a normal human emotion.
Well, that was a nice Wikipedia definition. I appreciate you pulling that shit out.
That's what I said.
No, you did not.
You were like, do you feel
didn't
guilt?
say-
And I was like, yes, I feel guilt.
Yeah, but you didn't say, it's a nice human emotion.
Yes, I did.
No, you just said, yeah, of course I feel guilt. That's not what you said. You said, yes, of course I feel guilt. Okay, so then I asked you another question. I said, well, how do you deal with the guilt when you feel it? Because you never seem like you're guilty about shit.
I hate feeling
You
guilty.
seem the opposite of guilty.
No,
I don't even know what the
like I
opposite of
said,
guilty
I
is.
hate
What is the
feeling
opposite of
guilty?
guilty?
I think that guilt takes you to spiral to a whole nother low. And so for me, when I recognize that I'm feeling guilty, I'm like, fuck. And I literally am like, okay, let's look at this logically. And I'm like, could you fix this? Could you perfect this? Why do you feel this way? What can you do to not feel this? And it's so funny because I think that women feel the mommy guilt, but I'm like, how can you set yourself up to win where you don't feel the mommy guilt? Or I'm just going to talk about women, and because right now I'm trying to lose baby weight. I'm almost there. I'm 6 pounds away.
You look amazing.
I can fit in my clothes, but I'm not bikini body ready.
The baby's 3 months old, and you are looking amazing.
Well, what I'm saying is there's even guilt with women with food.
Okay.
So you wake up the next morning and you're like, shit, I shouldn't have that glass of wine, or oh shit, I shouldn't have that brownie, or whatever it is. And so to me, I'm like, okay, well, there's this period at night where it's 3 to 4 hours where you're like, oh, I want a treat, I want a treat, I want a treat. But then I have to ask myself, is it worth feeling the guilt? Because I know that the guilt will ultimately spiral you even lower. So is the guilt going to set me up to have a shitty day the next day? Then that 3-hour time window where I know that I want a brownie or a glass of wine, I'm like, no, I can control that and have self-discipline because I know the guilt is going to last me a whole day tomorrow. So for me, I know that guilt plays a huge enemy in my life. And I know that you're always at choice. We give children choices. When we're parenting our kids, I'm like, hey, do you want to take a shower right now, or do you want to have take a shower and then go? I always try to give my children choices so they don't think I'm dictating or controlling them. That was a really bad example, but do you know what I mean? When you're Ruby, do you want to do this or that?
Yeah.
And it makes her make a decision, and she feels like it's her own. That's kind of how I go into guilt. I'm like, okay, so if I choose this now, then I don't suffer the guilt in the morning. If I do this as a mom, if I do this with my health and diet, if I do this, then I don't suffer the guilt. It could last longer and spiral me downwards.
Do you know how I deal with the guilt?
No.
I stack it. I know. You're able to do this in your mind, and you're able to make this assessment. You're basically stacking in your mind, which is what I do through my app on my cell phone.
Okay.
With the entire stack system, attack with a stack. Like the entire system is about dealing with my thoughts. I don't think most guys can fucking change that around their head like you do.
I do think I'm just super logical, and I do think I flip things
You do.
because I hate that feeling so bad.
Is that why you flip it with me in conversations? Oh, you'll take the opposite even no matter what.
Because I'm like, ooh, why do I feel this way? And I'm like, I don't like feeling this way. So I know that if I take the feeling out of it and I logically look at something, even if I'm in the wrong, I can understand it, and then I can like let go and try to do better.
So you deal with the guilt by flipping the story in your mind.
Yeah.
Which is what stacking is. Did you know this is what stacking is?
That's great. A lot of people need that tool.
They do. And some people have superpowers like you. To
I'm a
become Matthew
unicorn.
McConaughey and
Me
turn your
and my baby,
and flip your story.
we're unicorns.
You are. The baby's amazing. Baby's been sleeping. Baby Isla's been sleeping through the night since like 3 weeks. She's sleeping like 10 hours.
She's a good baby.
She sleeps in the snoo, though. The snoo is a magical device. I think the snoo is a unicorn maker.
I think you promote the snoo every time we do a podcast.
Well, because I'm so fucking impressed by the snoo.
All right, so let's get on topic and let's.
We
finish
are
up
on
the
topic.
show.
We've been on topic this entire time. We don't even finish the show. We're on top. We're dealing with guilt. You talk about how you deal with guilt.
How do you deal with guilt?
I told you I stack it. I deal with like a series of questions that help me flip the guilt because the guilt itself, guilt plagues guys in a massive way, right? So guys go through all kinds of guilt inside of marriage and dealing with kids and dealing with business because you have the idea of the expectation is go make money, go make money, go make money, go make money, right? So you go do that the best you can and you make the money. Maybe you don't make the money, which is worse. But if you make the money, you feel one thing. If you don't make the money, you feel another thing. If you make the money, you feel guilty because you're gone from the family and the kids. And then if you don't make the money, then you feel guilty because you're gone and you're still not making the money to take care of the kids. So of the levels of guilt, the worst guilt is not making the money and being gone from the kids. But if you make the money, you're gone from the kids, there's like a justifiable guilt that comes out.
You know what I can tell you? I remember there was a point in our marriage where you were working your ass off and then you weren't paying the bills. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to work out.
It was a foundation for a way.
And you know what? It's so funny. I feel like a lot of women are fine. They're fine with like taking on the home load until their husband's not paying the bill, and then they're like, "Motherfucker."
It's true. It's true. I was feeling about myself.
Do you hide? Do you hide? Like, what do you do?
No, like sometimes when I think back, I'm not sure exactly what I was doing because I was trying to figure out what I was doing. So I was spending the whole day like doing a lot of shit.
Did you feel like your role was like to be the provider, but then if you weren't providing, like how do you feel as a man?
You feel worthless. You feel worthless tits on.
So what do? Do you hide?
I try. I mean, I kind of hid. Yeah. I mean, that was back in the beg for hand jobs days.
Do you feel guilt?
Yeah, there was tons of guilt. There was tons of like shame. There was tons of guilt. Like, you feel like shit.
So what? Like here's
you feel like total shit. You feel like a worthless guy. You feel like you can't provide. So if you feel
this guilt, what do you do instead of hiding? What do you recommend doing?
Well, what do I recommend doing, or what did I do in the beginning?
Both.
What I do in the beginning, I literally ran. And you're like, you're running from your life. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not running from my life. You're like, you're running from your life. I'm like, I'm not running from my life.
Garrett was running like ultra marathons and like.
I was running like 15, 20 miles a day.
And not paying the bills.
And not paying the bills, but I was running far.
Thanks, Forrest.
Thanks, Forrest. But I was running far, and I got super skinny.
And
I
as
looked
a
like
wife, I'm like, I fucking believe. Run harder, baby.
No, you weren't saying that.
No, I was like, fucking
you weren't saying anything.
Stop running.
It wasn't working out. Like, I didn't know what to do. And I think the hardest part is I didn't know how to talk to you about any of it.
Did you feel like I was not supportive?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I felt like you were supportive.
No, not supportive.
Yeah, I felt like you were not supportive.
I was not.
I know. Easy, Matthew McConaughey. I told you. You just asked me a simple question.
I showed up on your ultra marathon days, and I was like, how's your run?
Yeah, no. Are you kidding me? I remember I was doing the 180-mile Red Rock Relay. You showed up, and I fought with you. I got in arguments with you. While I'm like 130 miles into the race, I'm arguing with you, walking down the fucking road.
What was so hard as a woman?
What?
You're telling me
how talented I was at 170 pounds running?
You're telling me that I should support you, and I was like, motherfucker, pay the bills.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get that. What I got was you weren't supporting me in my pursuit to run lots of miles.
Because that was going nowhere.
No, it was actually deeply powerful. Do you know what it did for me? Here's the thing is funny. Like, that entire time period was it was very important for me.
You weren't going to be a professional marathon
No,
runner.
I wasn't. But what it did do is it taught me how to hurt for long periods of time. And you and I were doing shitty.
You have so much mental endurance.
I was learned how to physically hurt for
I think there's a lot of
days
breakthrough.
and days and days on end with
I
no
will
complaint
say-
at all.
here's
Just
what,
fucking
here's what
hurt.
I will say, like, because I'm really into fitness and working out, and I will say there's something physically with the body, like you can push yourself so hard, and when you can physically break yourself, you can mentally take yourself to another level.
100%. This is what this is what I've done. I went from marathons
And so
to
at
Ironman
the time,
to ultras
well, at the
to
time,
CrossFit
I was like,
to Kokoro
well,
to
at
Navy
the
SEAL
time,
training
I was
camps.
like, you're just like fucking. What are you doing? But I realized you were kind of like mentally enduring yourself to handle so much shit with business. Like physically, if you can take a beating, like business wise, you're like, bring it on.
Business and marriage, like literally, this is why
But there's a lot of breakthrough with the physicality of it.
massive. Like I learned how to hurt.
I sometimes like physically kicking my own ass in a workout just because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be better at business.
Like I feel like there's a switch inside of. I think as a parent, as a husband, everything. Like my ultra running years trained me to feel that way.
There's like the training, there's the discipline, there's such a high in everything.
But there's a difference. It's almost like you learn how to hurt and be okay with hurting, and there's no finish line. And that's like marriage. Marriage is no finish line. It's not like you ever get it figured out. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. You and your kids, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. Business, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. With yourself, you're like up, you're down, you're up, you're down. And what I found throughout all of that, and then what really brought it home was all the training for a couple of years I did with the Navy SEALs groups inside of like SEAL Fit and a bunch of our other friends that were like veteran Navy SEALs and veteran special forces and military that were training me and training my friends. Like they would just beat the shit out of us. And they would keep saying the same thing. We're like, there's no finish line. There's no finish line. White, what the fuck are you looking for? There's no finish line. Why do you keep pretending in your mind that there's some way this thing's going to end? It's never going to fucking end. And I'm like, and it was weird. There was a snap. I was sitting one moment in the middle of a field. I was in a grass field during this 3-day no-sleep camp.
I love those moments.
And they beat the shit out of me. I'm 48 hours in. We're sitting in the middle of this big green field. I still to this day don't know where the fuck this field was. We're sitting in this field. There's about
I've never had that moment. I said I love this moment. I was empathizing with your like just your physical
You had a Matthew McConaughey dream about
Shut
being
up,
in this
no,
moment.
No. Like there's these moments when you're like, I don't think I can do this. And then you were in a field. I don't.
But mine switched.
No.
So here's how mine switched though. I'm sitting there, we're doing push-ups. There's no end to the push-ups. We would do 10 push-ups, then we would sit back on our knees, then we would extend back out. We would do 10 push-ups. We extend back on our knees and we rest. The guy leading us, this big ass jack dude would lead us. And then like 15, 20 seconds later, we'd be doing 10 more push-ups. There was no end. There was no talking. There was no yelling. There was nothing. We're sitting in this field, 48 hours, no sleep, beat down. I'm exhausted as fuck. We're doing push-ups. And one of the coaches on the megaphone is like, there is no finish line. There is no finish line. And they come over, White, why the fuck do you keep looking like there's a finish line? There's no finish line, White. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, and all of a sudden this shit
There's
snapped.
no finish line.
No, it snapped in my mind. And I literally collapsed into the event. Go ahead.
Do you know when you were in, what was the name of that camp?
That was Kokoro. This is where I'm telling the story from.
No, when you were in that camp, I remember, I feel like I'm very in tune to energy.
Yeah.
And I remember working out where there was I don't want to say our souls met, but I like saw where you were at and I was like, oh shit. And I was like, that's going to be hard and that's going to open up a lot for him. And I think in that moment for me, I was like, okay, I had a little bit of like empathy for what you were experiencing. Even though I wasn't there, energetically, I was like, I hope he's okay.
That was 2015. That was a fantastic, that was a quantum year for me. For those who have never been to Kokoro Camp with Navy SEAL Mark Devine and the rest of his team at SEAL Fit, I'd encourage you to do it. We've had about 50 guys from Wake Boreal go through the SEAL Fit Academy, go through Kokoro, go through their 6-day event, etc. It's like phenomenal. But it broke me. Like I was sitting there in the middle of this and it broke me. And in that moment in 2015, it was the first time I got to a place.
There's a lot of power in submission.
There was huge. But what I submitted to was the idea that there's no finish line, which is I just did the work that was in front of me. This empowered me to work on us. This empowered me to work on my business. So like I'll be hurting and suffering in business with so much shit to do. And I just take a deep breath and I'm like, there is no finish line. This will not end quickly.
Take it day by day.
This is going to fucking hurt really bad. And it is what it is.
I feel like I get a little bit overwhelmed with like when I look at the future of my business and life and everything else. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to forget it all. And when I get overwhelmed, I just want to like curl up in a ball, have a bottle of wine, and like do nothing. And that's when I'm like, I'm just going to be a stay-at-home mom. I should just be happy and grateful for being a stay-at-home mom. That's all I'm supposed to do. And
Do you think a lot of women sell out in that who actually don't want to be Listen, I fully support women who want to be CEO mom and be stay-at-home mom. I love that. But do you think there are a lot of women who sell out to that?
I'm not going to say anything because
all right, I'll say something. I think a shitload of women sell out to that because I know a ton of them who are miserably depressed in their 50s and 60s. I do know them personally.
Well, it's not too
and
late.
Some of them are in my family.
Here's what I'll tell you. I love being a mom. I love everything about it. But I also know like that I love doing stuff for myself as well. And not only that, like I think a lot of women pursue things outside of being a mom, but they look at it as a hobby. And I did that in the beginning. I literally jumped into hair because I was like, it's a hobby. Like I can have a little bit of purpose outside of being a mom and maybe I'll make a little extra income and like that's great, balance for me. And then in life I was faced with the situation of like, oh fuck, I don't know if I'm going to stay married and if I'm going to work, I'm not looking at it as a cute hobby anymore. And I think I gave myself more credit for who I could become and what I knew and everything else with hair. And I no longer looked at it as like a hobby. And I think that a lot of women, they're super happy being a stay-at-home wife. And from my experience, I felt like maybe I could do more, but I was put in a situation where I had to do more. I didn't know if I was going to stay married. I had 2 children at the time. And I was like, I have to make a decision for myself. And I was like, fuck that. I know I'm capable of more. And I think that, so for me, it's like, I don't want to talk down on anyone who's like, oh, I'm content being a stay-at-home mom, or I feel like a ton of pleasure, I feel like a ton of growth being a mom. For me, that wasn't my path. And so I feel like if the cards were different, could I have experienced the same amount of growth? I don't know because that wasn't my path. But there's times even now where I feel a ton of guilt, where I feel a ton of like, holy shit, I'm trying to work and do everything else. I'm like, oh, I should just be a mom. And I'm like, no, I love working. And what's cool about when I was put in a situation where I had to make it more than a hobby is like, I'm really fucking good at what I do. And I began to value my mom time even more. Like I began to value who I could become as a producer. I began to value who I was as a mom. I wasn't just like, oh, I'm looking for something to make a little income and maybe like I can buy some clothes with it. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm going to compete with you this year. Like, I'm not saying that to have an ego, but I see so much in myself where I'm like, this is so cool to be in a place, in a situation where I can sit at dinner with my husband. I'm like, what are you doing with business? Here's what I'm doing with business. Okay, what are you doing? And I'm like, holy shit, like we have 2 separate businesses that are rising together and that's my path. And that's the path that I created for myself. And that's the path that I chose for myself. So kudos to all you moms out there, because there's times where I'm like, shit, mom guilt is real. And I had a lot of mom fail moments. But I think I would have mom fail moments whether I chose to work or I didn't. And I personally believe that working has actually in a lot of ways made me value my time so much more. And when you value your time, every fucking moment matters. Smiles with your baby matters. Like sitting there, changing a diaper matters. And that's what's so cool to be in a place in life where I'm like, life is fun. And I have created this and I'm so excited to see where it goes.
I literally have nothing to add to that, Matthew McConaughey. That was beautiful.
Oh my God. Fucking put on your snowsuit.
Oh, I guess I should be a female actress. I don't know who I should be. Who would I be?
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
When
Underworld in black leather with
married,
gun
you
shooting
were like, you
werewolves.
were so into that. And I was like, I had short blonde hair. And I was like, you like Kate Beckinsale? I'm like, I have short blonde hair. And like, that's not.
Do you know why, though? Is because she was wearing black leather and she was hunting werewolves. And I don't know, for whatever reason, but like 15 years, 16, 17 years ago, I thought that was hot.
Well, we know what my Halloween costume is going to be this year.
Is it? Is that what it's going to be?
I don't know. Let's wrap up the show.
All right, listen. This brings to a conclusion here. We talked about guilt. Hopefully you got some shit from that. We talked about like having babies. We talked about running businesses together. And we had some conversations about, Matthew McConaughey. And if you like him.
I guess my superhero is Matthew
My superhero is
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. We did end up we rented the same yacht with the same driver in Capri last summer that Matthew McConaughey had with his family.
It's true. Good for us.
I think you're stalking him.
It was weird.
You're stalking him in your dreams. That's all right. I appreciate and I approve. Listen, I love you.
Who's your crush? He's not actually my crush. I don't know why it was Matthew McConaughey in my dream.
You're my crush?
I think
You're my crush.
I'm your crush.
You got it.
No.
Yours is Matthew McConaughey, and mine is you.
I'm never going to
That's
let this down. Be the best you can be.
Be the best you can be, and if you can't be Matthew McConaughey.
I freaking hate you.
All right, we're done with today's show. Couple little promos out there. We got Warrior Greens, powder greens. We've got hundreds, not thousands, hundreds right now at the time of the show who are currently consuming of the Warrior Greens powder green supplement every single day as part of their core 4. If you want to check that out, I got a funny movie there. Worst case scenario, be entertained. Best case scenario, get yourself some Warrior Greens powdered supplements, take on the road and or have at your house. You can check that out at warriorgreens.com. Also, we have a new video series available at 7. It's actually not 7. Excuse me, not 7 Pits. It's at betheman.com, which is where we have the 7 Pits of married businessmen with children. It is not built for women, but women do get value from it. It is built for men who are married, who have children. If you are a man in that place or you are married to a man in that place, I would encourage him to head on over to betheman.com.
I don't have a sales pitch.
You don't need one. You've got Matthew McConaughey.
I have amazing hair, and I have an education company called DKW Styling Academy.
She fired the name Big Money Stylist.
You can't scale that shit.
But it's always going to be your origin. It's always going to be your origin.
I'm like, hey, I need to scale my shit. Like my mastermind's getting
too
too big.
It's going to be your
I'm like, can
origin.
I create Big Money Stylist Academy? No, I cannot.
No, you cannot. Well, that was because it was my idea. All right,
I know.
Listen, that's all we got for you. We guys see you guys next week. My wife's looking amazing. We're going to Hawaii. Maybe we'll do a show in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
in
good
Hawaii,
night.
just
Have a
like
good
Mexico.
night.
Good night. Peace.
End
See
of
you
our
later. I'm going to go
promos.
get my wife naked right now as
Nope.
she thinks about being Matthew McConaughey,
Oh my
which is really weird for
God.
me. Bye-bye.